Hello everybody, I am Triveni Sureshbabu, the senior trainer of Skillzenith Consulting. Today let us learn about the opposition to British rule in Karnataka State Board, class 10th Social Science, lesson number 4, part 4. In this video, we will learn about rebellion of Amara Sullya, Puttabasappa, rebellion of Surapura, Venkatappa Nayaka, Veerappa of Koppal, rebellions of Bedas of Halagali. Now let us learn about rebellion of Amara Sullya. This rebellion was basically a farmers' rebellion. That means farmers were included. Mainly it was a rebellion by the farmers. This rebellion needs to be understood in the backdrop of political situations prevalent in coastal Karnataka and Kodagu regions during 1835 to 37. See, this rebellion should be understood at the backdrop on behind the curtain. That means at the back of the political situations which was prevailing in coastal Karnataka and Kodagu regions during the period from 1835 to 37. The British dethroned the rulers of Kodagu, Chikkaveerarajendra of Haleri dynasty in 1834. You know that British in Martare, Chikkaveerarajendra of Haleri dynasty, he was a ruler of Kodagu. He was dethroned. His throne was taken, or his region was taken by the British in the year 1834. He was later transferred to Vellore through Bangalore and later to Kashi. See, ಅವನ region ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋದಲ್ದೇನೆ ಅವನನ್ನ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ? He was transferred. He was sent to a place by name Vellore through Bangalore. Bangalore ಮೂಲಕ Vellore ಕಳಿಸ್ತಾರೆ. And then from there he was sent to Kashi. Why he was separated from his kingdom means ಅವನೇನಾರು ಮಾಡಿ ರಿಬೆಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. He may protest against the British ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ very intelligently he was sent out of his region. This incident created political instability in Kodagu. When there is no ruler, when there is no proper leader in any kingdom or in any state, you know very well that political situation will be worsened. In the same way, there was political instability in the region of Kodagu. Swami Aparampura, Kalyana Swami, Puttabasappa organized a rebellion against this. So the dethrone of the king was opposed by three persons: Swami Aparampura, Kalyana Swami and Puttabasappa. All the three persons declared that they are part of the Haleri dynasty that ruled Kodagu. They stated that they were the part of the Haleri dynasty that ruled Kodagu. So dynasty Haleri was the name of the dynasty who ruled over Kodagu region during that period. Swami Aparampura assumed the leadership of the rebellion. That means he took over the leadership of the rebellion. Dangege Nayaka ಆಗ್ತಾನೆ ಅವನು. He was captured in 1834 and shifted to Bangalore. What was British doing? ಯಾರು ಮುಂದೆ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ದಂಗೆ ಇದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಜಾಗದಿಂದ ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ದೂರ ಕಳಿಸ್ಬಿಡ್ತಿದ್ರು. That means ಈ familiar region ಆದ್ರೆ again they may protest ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರು? He was shifted to Bangalore. Who was shifted? Swami Aparampura was shifted to Bangalore. Similarly, Kalyana Swami was captured in 1837 and placed in Mysore prison. So Kodagu ಸುತ್ತಮುತ್ತ ಸಹ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅವರನ್ನ. Another leader by name Kalyana Swami was captured in the year 1837 and he was sent to Mysore prison. Now let us learn about Puttabasappa. The people of lower Kodagu continued the rebellion after the capture of Kalyana Swami. The other part of Kodagu people continued the rebellion. Sullya, Bellare and Puttur, the major places of Kannada region, were part of Amara Sullya. So Amara Sullya idralli there were some places like Sullya, Bellare, Puttur. There were the important places of Kannada region, coastal region. So people of lower Kodagu, they continued the rebellion after the capture of Kalyana Swami. It is interesting to note that a farmer named Puttabasappa as Kalyana Swami. See, Puttabasappa was a farmer. He also became the leader of the protest or the rebellion against the British. This Puttabasappa later presented himself as Swami Aparampura. So next what he will do? He will take the leadership. He himself took the place of Swami Aparampura. This also notes the fluid nature of the rebellion. That means how the rebellion turned, like how the fluid will go from one place to another place, how it will spread. In the same way, the rebellion was spread. Puttabasappa took over the leadership of the rebellion. Now, Puttabasappa is the leader of the rebellion. The rebellion started in the hilly region. Hilly region andre Malenadugalu, andre a place which is surrounded by the hills. Puttabasappa organized the rebels and calmed down the people. So people ಏನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಜನ ಎಲ್ಲ ದಂಗೆ ಎದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ. There was no proper leader. Now Puttabasappa, he organized, convinced all the rebels and calmed down the people. ರಿಬೆಲ್ಸ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಆರ್ಗನೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾಗಿ ಅಡ್ವೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಜನಗಳನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ, ಜನ they were behaving even in their own way. Now he was calmed down. ಅವ್ರ ಕೋಪ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಮಾಡಿ ಆರ್ಗನೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಅಡ್ವೈಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ. He declared that tax on tobacco and salt will be withdrawn if the rebel government assumes power. ಅವನೇನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ, so the British had imposed tax on tobacco and salt. He says that Puttabasappa said that the tax on tobacco and salt will be withdrawn, taken back if the rebel government assumes power. Tanenaru, if he comes to power, will remove the tax on tobacco and salt. He convinced the people. The rich farmers, landowners and local chiefs were assured of this move. So what he did? He said, especially to the traders and farmers, local chiefs, what he did, he said that if he becomes the leader or if the rebel government comes to power, tax on tobacco and salt will be removed. Now some of the people like farmers, landowners and local people, they were attracted by his option. The capture of the government office in Bellare was the first move in this rebellion. First move means first step. So how the rebellion started, he captured the government office in a place called Bellare. This was the first step. Puttabasappa killed an amaldar who was known for his brutality, further increased the popularity of Puttabasappa. Puttabasappa is becoming popular among the people. So Puttabasappa, he killed an amaldar. He was known for his brutality. Brutality ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅಮಾನುಷ ವರ್ತನೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. Cruel ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. He was a very cruel officer. So when Puttabasappa killed such an amaldar, he became still popular among the people. This incident gained more support for the rebellion. Which incident? The death of amaldar or the Puttabasappa killing amaldar gained more support for the rebellion, and the rebellion became more famous. Now the rebellion under the leadership of Puttabasappa is becoming famous. Day by day, he is getting more and more encouragement by the people. The rebels marched towards Mangalore to capture it. So the rebels, ದಂಗೆಕಾರರು ಅಂತ ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅವರು, they moved towards Mangalore to capture it. The British were engaged in fortifying their fort in Mangalore. So in the meanwhile, when rebels were moving towards the Mangalore, British were busy in fortifying their fort in Mangalore. Mangalore ಕೋಟೆನ ಭದ್ರ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ, ಕೋಟೆ ಕಟ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಅವಾಗ rebels will all of a sudden attack Mangalore. The rebels marched towards Mangalore through Pane Mangalore and Bandwal. The route which was selected by Basappa and his followers was Pane Mangalore and Bandwal. Through this route, they reached Mangalore. They looted the treasury and prison of Bandwal. So what they did? They looted the treasury. ಈ ರಿಬೆಲಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರು ಅಂದ್ರೆ, their first plan was to loot the treasury. ಕೋಶನ ಅಥವಾ ಟ್ರೆಜರಿನ ಲೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ they were getting plenty of wealth. They needed money for their rebels to protest against the British. So they looted the treasury and prison of the Bandwal. ಅಲ್ಲೊಂದು prison ಸಹ ಲೂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. The British sought the army of Thalacheri, Kannur and Bombay to quell this uprising, to put an end to this uprising. On hearing this development, Puttabasappa and his associated fled towards Sullya. So Puttabasappa and his friends associated, his friends or followers or his supporters came to know that British are coming with a huge army. So they ran away towards Sullya. The British captured them with the help of people in Kodagu. They will capture Basappa and his followers with the help of the people in Kodagu. They will take the help of the Kodagu people and capture the followers of Puttabasappa. Puttabasappa, Lakshmappa, Bhangarasa, Kedambadi, Ramaya, Gowda and Guddemane Appaya were hanged till death. They were all rebellions, followers of Puttabasappa. Now what happened? Puttabasappa, Lakshmappa, Bangarasa, Kedambadi Ramaya Gowda and Guddemane Appaya, they were all caught by the British and hanged till death. ಅವರೆಲ್ಲ ನೇಣು ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. So British caught these people and hanged to death. Though the rebellion failed, it has an important place in the history of rebellions against the British. I told you in the previous lesson that no doubt the rebellion was a failure, but the attempt made by such people or the brave people is an important issue in the history of Karnataka. Now, rebellion of Surapura and Koppal, the places, two places, rebellion. That means Dange, Surapura and Koppal. Koppalali how the people rebelled against the British rule. See, Surapura, Yadagiri district, Surapura you can see, Shahapur, Yadagiri, you can look at the map. Surapura is at 50 kilometers from the present day of Yadagiri. Today, Surapura is a place which is just 50 kilometers away from Yadagiri. This was an important place since the rule of Avrangzebe of Moghuls. That means Yadagiri was an important place even during the period of the rule of Avrangzebe, who was a Mughal ruler. During the rule of Nizam of Hyderabad and Marathas, it became a vassal state. Vassal state under Samanta Raja. A small king under an emperor or a king is called as vassal anta heltare. Samanta Rajya anta heltare. Vassal state means later most of the territory was lost and Surapura remained restricted to a smaller territory. For previously it was a big territory. Many of the territories were lost and at last it became a small territory. During the reign of Venkatappa, it raised a rebellion against the British. That means in a place called Surapura, rebellion started against the British. Even though it was a small territory, people of Surapura rebelled against the British. Venkatappa Nayaka. You can have a look at Venkatappa Nayaka. Venkatappa came to throne after the death of his father Krishna Nayaka. That means Venkatappa Nayaka was the son of Krishna Nayaka. He was born in the year 1834 and came to throne in an early age. So he became a king at a very early age. His ascendance to throne was opposed by Krishna Nayak's brother Pedda Nayaka. Krishna Nayaka father, own brother, he opposed. Because ascendance to throne andre ಪೀಠಾರೋಹಣ ಅಂತ ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಸಿಂಹಾಸನಕ್ಕೆ ಬರೋದು. ಸೊ ಹೂ ಅಪೋಸ್ಡ್? ಹಿಸ್ ಫಾದರ್ಸ್ ಬ್ರದರ್ ಪೆದ್ದ ನಾಯಕ ಅಪೋಸ್ಡ್. He said that it was not right for a minor son or a young king to sit on the throne. This resulted in internal struggles. This is common in every history because always the administration was disturbed by the internal struggles. ಒಳ ಜಗಳ ಅಂತ ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಇಂಟರ್ನಲ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಗಲ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಒಳ ಜಗಳ. ಸಿಂಹಾಸನಕ್ಕಂತೂ ಹಿಂದಿನ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಳ ಜಗಳ ತುಂಬಾ ಕಾಮನ್ ಆಗಿತ್ತು. The British interfered in the affairs of Surapura. British came to know that there was internal disturbance in Surapura, so they interfered in the middle. In 1842, British appointed Meadows Taylor as the resident and gained proxy power over Surapura. Proxy ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಬದಲಿ ಪ್ರಾತಿನಿಧ್ಯ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಬದಲಿ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಸಿ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಬದಲಿ. ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಸಿ ಅಟೆಂಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೋದೇನು ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಕೆಲವು ಸತಿ ಏನಾಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ, 100 ಜನ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಒಬ್ಬರ ಅಟೆಂಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಸಿ, ಬದಲಿ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ 1842 ನಲ್ಲಿ ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷ್ ಸ್ಟಡಿಡ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದ ಪೊಲಿಟಿಕಲ್ ಸಿಚುವೇಶನ್ ಇನ್ ಸುರಾಪುರ and they appointed a person by name Meadows Taylor as the British officer. Resident means officer, and gained proxy power over Surapura. ಯಾರು ಪವರ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷ್ಗೆ, they only took the power or they took over the administration of Surapura. Taylor was a reformist. Reformist means one who brings changes. Sudarane. He developed Surapura princely states. He brought about many changes and developed Surapura. Nayaka was appointed as the Diwan of the state. British were very intelligent. In order to satisfy Nayaka, he was appointed as the Diwan of the state. Diwan means almost a minister of the state. Taylor conducted the land survey of the kingdom. The revenue of the state increased due to the measures implemented by Taylor. So, revenue of the state, Surapura state, okay, small kingdoms were also called as the state. The revenue or the income of the state or income of Surapura increased due to the steps taken by Taylor. He took measures to educate Venkatappa Nayaka properly. See, he not only brought so many measures, he also educated Venkatappa Nayaka. He came to power in 1853. Venkatappa again will sit on the throne of Surapura in the year 1853. So Taylor was a reformist. He introduced many good steps and he improved the political situation and administration of Surapura entirely. So now British or Surapura began to give good income for the state. Now rebellion of Surapura. How the rebellion started at Surapura also. The British government was observing the various developments of Surapura. We know very well that British residents were there at almost all the regions. British Empire important places ಏನೇನಿತ್ತು ಇಂಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಅಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷ್ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರು, an officer was kept to observe the movements, political movements of the situation, ಏನಾಗ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂತ ನೋಡಕ್ಕೆ. So a British resident was kept. So British were watching the developments which were taking place in Surapura. In 1857, it came to the notice of government that the representatives of Nana Sahib were present in Surapura. So in the year 1857, the government, the British observed that they came to know that some of the representatives of Nana Sahib means Maratha ruler, they were present at Surapura. ಈಗ British are getting a doubt. This made the British suspicious of king's intentions. Now British gained no doubt, why Maratha representatives are kept at Surapura? Marathas may help the ruler of Surapura. Combined ಆಗಿ ಅವರು ನಮ್ಮ ಮೇಲೆ ದಾಳಿ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ British already started thinking. So British were suspicious of king's intentions. Intentions ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅವನ desires or ಅವನ ಮನೋಭಾವನೆ ಅಂತ ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. Why the Maratha representatives were there at the king's court ಅನ್ನೋದು, it was suspicious for the British. The British appointed an officer named Campbell to report on the various activities of the king. Now what British ಬೇಹುಗಾರಿಕೆ, nothing but ಹೇಗೆ CIDಗಳು ಹೇಗಿರ್ತಾರೋ ಅಥವಾ ಬೇಹುಗಾರಿಕೆಗಳು. See, British now what they will do, they appointed an officer by name Campbell to report to the British about the activities of the king, movements of the king. ಅವನು ಏನೇನು ಡಿಸಿಷನ್ಸ್ ತಗೋತಾನೆ, ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ, ಯಾರ ಹತ್ರ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಶಿಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ, ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ರಿಪೋರ್ಟ್ ತಗೊಳಕ್ಕೆ ಏನೋ ಆಫೀಸರ್ ಬೈ ನೇಮ್ ಕ್ಯಾಂಪೆಲ್ ವಾಸ್ ಅಪಾಯಿಂಟೆಡ್. The officer submitted a report to the resident of Hyderabad that the king is involved in maladministration. So officer was observing the administration. He prepared a report. ಒಂದು ರಿಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಬರೀತಾನೆ. So he wrote a detailed note about the administration of Surapura. He wrote a note to the officer of Hyderabad that the king is involved in maladministration. He was of the opinion, the officer Campbell was of the opinion that king was involved in maladministration. That means the king was not a good king. ಅವನ administration ಸರಿ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. So there is no good administration in Surapura. The report was submitted by Campbell to the officer, British officer of Hyderabad. Venkatappa Nayaka is usually presented as the leader of 1857 revolt in Karnataka by the historians. See, historians are of the opinion that Venkatappa Nayaka was a leader of the 1857 revolt in Karnataka. The British army captured Surapura in 1858. British were already suspecting the movements of the king. Surapura political situation was known to the British, so they captured Surapura in the year 1858. The war continued. There is confusion regarding Venkatappa Nayaka's end. That means historians did not get any report about the death of Venkatappa Nayaka. How his life came to an end, we are not having a definite information. Now, Veerappa of Koppal. If you look at the map of Karnataka, we have put a ring around Koppal. You can have a glance at this place. Koppal rebellion is an important rebellion in the various armed rebellions against the British. That means Koppal rebellion is considered as a very important rebellion. It was an armed rebellion against the British. The Koppal and the surrounding regions were under the rule of Nizam of Hyderabad. That means Koppal and the surrounding Suttamutta irodu regions are the places were under the rule of Nizam of Hyderabad. There were exploitations. The ruler was not good. This enraged a few zamindars who rebelled against the Nizam. See, Nizam was exploiting the people in Koppal. So, zamindars were not at all happy with the rule of Nizam. Veerappa is an important person among the rebels. Many rebelled against the Nizam of Hyderabad. Among those, Veerappa is considered as an important person in the rebels. Veerappa, who was a zamindar, rebelled against the British and occupied the fort of Koppal and other forts in the vicinity. Vicinity means neighborhood ante ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಅಕ್ಕಪಕ್ಕ, surrounding areas. Veerappa was a zamindar. He rebelled against the British and occupied the fort of Koppal and other forts in the vicinity. The surrounding places were also captured by the British. Many farmers and zamindars supported after realizing his motives. During the initial stages, many farmers and zamindars did not understand his motives, desires, why he is rebelling. They could not understand. Later on, they understood about his good intention and they supported. The British contacted the Nizam and employed their army to defeat Veerappa. So Nizam were also supporting British at this junction. What happened? British contact, they will go and take the help of Nizam, and Nizam army was used to defeat Veerappa. Veerappa, who had lesser soldiers, died fighting the army of the British. That means Veerappa was not having a big army. He had only few soldiers. So he died while fighting with the British. The British captured back the fort of Koppal. So Koppal fort, which was belonging to the Veerappa, was captured by the British. Though this rebellion was short-lived one, Veerappa proved himself to be a good warrior. This rebellion did not last long because he was not well equipped. He did not have a huge army. Arms and ammunition irrilla. Anyhow, he made a dare attempt to face British. That is why he is remembered in the history of Karnataka. He is considered as a very good warrior. Rebellions of Bedas of Halagali. Halagali. Bedaru andre, you know, hunters. Halagali is a place. Mudhol Taluk baratte, Belagavi district alli. Halagali is a small village of Mudhol Taluk of Belagavi district. Idu new Halagali village aaytu, Taluk Mudhol, Belagavi district. This was part of the Mudhol principality. That means this belonged to British. It was a British region. In 1857, the British banned the usage of weapons. So in the year 1857, what British said? They said that nobody should carry the weapons. Bedru andre nimge natural, they will move around their regions with the weapons. ಅವರು ಬೇಡ್ರಿ ಏನೇನು ಬಿಲ್ಲು ಬಾಣ ಕತ್ತಿ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡೇ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. But the British said that they should not use any weapons. Bedas, who always kept guns as a part of custom, and they were good hunters. So you know, ಬೇಡ್ರು ಅಂದ್ರೆ hunters. ಬೇಟೆ ಆಡೋದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಫೇಮಸ್ ಅವರು. ಅವ್ರದ್ದೇ ಒಂದು ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಟಿ ಇದೆ. In long back, hundreds of years, Bedas were left free to hunt But now it is not accepted by the government. Government has banned the hunting. ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ ಪ್ರಾಣಿಗಳ ಸಂಕುಲ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು whether they hunted or not, they used to move along with their arms and ammunitions or the guns. ಬಿಲ್ಲು ಬಾಣ ಗನ್ ಅವ್ರು ಏನಾದ್ರು ಆಗಲಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡೇ ಓಡಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಎ ಕಸ್ಟಮರಿ. ಈಗ ಹಲವಾರು ನೀವು ಇಫ್ ಯು ಲುಕ್ ಎಟ್ ಸಮ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಟಿ, ಈ ಕೊಡಗಲ್ಲೂ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಕೆಲವ್ರು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡೋರು ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಕೆಲವು ರಾಜಮಂತಂದವರು ಯುದ್ಧ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿ ಬಿಡ್ಲಿ ಒರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಮುಂದ್ಗಡೆ ಅವ್ರ ಡ್ರೆಸ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಒರೆ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಒರೆನಲ್ಲಿ ಕತ್ತಿ ಯಾವಾಗ್ಲೂ ಸೆಕ್ಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಓಡಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಕಸ್ಟಮರಿ ಫಾರ್ ಸಮ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಪೀಪಲ್. So Bedas were also keeping guns as a part of custom. They rebelled against the British when they were asked to surrender their firearms. ಅವ್ರು ಏನೇನು ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ, see whatever arms and ammunitions the Bedas were having, the British asked to surrender all the weapons. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಏನೇನಿದೆ ಎಲ್ಲದನ್ನೂ, ಫೈರ್ ಆರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೋಸಿವ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಆಲ್, ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಡಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ದ ಬೇಡಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಮಂತೂರು, ಬೂದ್ನಿ, ಅನಗುಂಡಿ and neighboring villages joined Halagali Bedas. Now Halagali Bedas started protesting against the British. They were not willing to surrender their weapons to British. The British army entered Halagali village to suppress the rebellion. It is a common factor. It is a common information. Whenever there were rebellions, British were coming with the army to suppress the rebellion. They suppressed the Bedas in an inhuman way. ಅಮಾನುಷವಾಗಿ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದ ಕಡೆ ಬೇಡನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಸಾಯಿಸ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಶೂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಆಲ್ ದ ರಿಬೆಲ್ಸ್ ವರ್ ಹ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಡ್ ಟು ಡೆತ್. ಇಲ್ಲ ಶೂಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು, ಇಲ್ಲ ತಗೊಂಡೋಗಿ ಹ್ಯಾಂಗ್ ಮಾಡೋದು. ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟುಡ್. ವೆಪನ್ಸ್ನ ಕ್ಯಾರಿ ಮಾಡಬಾರ್ದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಕಸ್ಟಮರಿ ಫಾರ್ ದ ಬೇಡಾಸ್ ಟು ಕ್ಯಾರಿ ದ ಗನ್ಸ್ ಅಲಾಂಗ್ ವಿತ್ ದೆಮ್, ವೆದರ್ ದೇ ಹಂಟೆಡ್ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್. British said that they had to surrender. They will not agree for this point. Many villages like Manturu, Budani, Alagundi and so many villages, they joined their hands with Halagali Bedas. ತುಂಬಾ ಜನ ಎಲ್ಲ ಹಳ್ಳಿ ಬೇಡಾಸ್ ಸೇರ್ಕೋತಾರೆ. But now British army, an organized army, will enter Halagali to suppress the rebellion. They killed so many hundreds of Bedas, were killed inhumanly. All the rebels were hanged to death. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you understood the lesson. In the next video, we will give the solution to textbook exercises. Please watch, like and share our videos. Give your feedback in the comment section. Subscribe to our channel for more videos. Thank you.